Hi, my name is Allison Keefe, and I am a 7th grade English teacher.
Hey! Good, I'm doing good. How about you?
As a teacher, how have you been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic so far?
Our school is a Title I school, which means sort of in lay terms that we work with primarily students who are from economically disadvantaged backgrounds. And there was a ton of trauma that our students were experiencing as a result of the pandemic. When you're hearing story after story of student who has a family member that is ill, or story after story of a family who is in economic distress, right? Because a parent has lost their job or a student who is worried, right? That's a lot on us. And being able to process those emotions ourselves to make space for being able to take care of others is really critical. And I think the thing that really helped me was that I did have a community of educators at my school who had all gone through the same mindfulness training that I had gone through. And I expected it to be helpful. I certainly expected it to build camaraderie. What I did not expect was how much a sustained practice was going to bring to my life.
Good morning. It is bright and early, 6:45, and I am about to take you on a virtual tour of my day as a mindful virtual educator. So I'm glad to have you on the ride today. So I start every day the same way, which is sitting down with a cup of coffee to plan out my day. Now, this is the most important part of my day because it's where I plan my intention for the day. During the school year, I would take that intention and put it in a group chat with fellow educators, but it's still the summer, so they're not necessarily in line, nor should they be, and I'm going to take my intention instead and put it into my digital planner. That way, I still have a record to reflect on later. Our day is still pretty busy, even though it's not an official school day, because there's so much to get ready. This morning, I am meeting with my podcast host and a brick and mortar teacher from a local school district, and we're going to be talking about how to use sort of Zoom and web conferencing softwares to bring the world into your digital classrooms. And the rest of my day is just getting ready for the students. So I have welcome videos to make, I have assignments to get set up, basically everything so that the year has a really smooth start for them when they get going. I have a tendency to be a little bit of a perfectionist about this kind of stuff. So I want to make sure that I'm getting everything done that I have set to do, even if it's not necessarily perfect. So I think that's going to be my intention, is that really for today, just focus on getting everything done, be unattached from that outcome, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be finished. So now that I've planned my day, I'm ready to go ahead and enter my office, and we're going to get started with my meditation practice. So I set a goal for myself at the beginning of last year that I was going to meditate at least 1 minute every single day. And the reason behind the 1 minute was there should never be a day where I can't make 1 minute's worth of time for myself. I do a particular method, which I'm going to go ahead and show you here, which is called grounding through the senses. And basically what it does is it sort of brings you to the present moment using your senses as a method to keep you present. I use a candle to help me get started with this. So I'm going to go ahead and light my beautiful candle. And I can already kind of smell sort of the perfume that is coming off. I always make sure to use a scented candle, and I'll sit cross-legged, and I'll begin to go ahead and meditate. So I'll usually start by thinking a little bit about the sounds that I'm hearing, the smells that I'm smelling, sort of using that candle as a way to enter the rest of my sensory experience, and just try to focus on being very present in the moment and using my senses as a way to kind of pull me back. And if other feelings arise, that's cool. That's natural. You just kind of let them be there and float on by. Often it's more than 1 minute every day. I'm up to about 5 minutes, but 1 minute is sort of the minimum that I ask for myself every day. And it's honestly made a big difference. Hello, it is 5 o'clock. I am mostly done with my day. I have one lonely assignment that I need to finish up a little bit later tonight. And it was a good day for the most part. I did manage to get an awful lot done. I had to change a lot about my opening of year assignments, though. There were a lot of questions and activities that in a normal year might have seemed sort of really benign. Questions like, what did you do with your summer? That this year had like a little bit of bite behind them potentially for students, right? We really try to be trauma informed about our practices. And I know for a fact that I will have students whose parents were laid off during this summer, students who either they or people that they know got sick. And so I want to make sure that my assignments as a teacher, right, are helpful and forward thinking and giving students a place to feel kind of safe and some regularity and some normalcy in their day when they come to school. So I'm excited for that. I'm about to start dinner pretty shortly, which is one of my favorite other mindful activities. I used to be the kind of person that would cook listening to music or a podcast, and anymore I just kind of like to enjoy the quiet and just sort of focusing on the cooking and the natural sounds and rhythms.
Allison, you've been practicing mindfulness for some time now. Would you say it could be beneficial for others right now?
I think that mindfulness gives us the power to feel like we have some control over our own minds and over our own emotions, right? The practice of mindfulness isn't going to change any of the things that you're experiencing in your day-to-day, right? It's not going to take something that is sad and make it not sad. It's not going to take something that is stressful and make it not stressful. What mindfulness is going to do for you is allow you to recognize in the moment that that's what's happening. I honestly think it's changed so much about my quality of life. Literally just a couple weeks ago over the summer, I was on a walk with my boyfriend. We were taking a hike, one of the few things you can do right now that's safe, right? And I found myself getting really stressed about the beginning of the school year. There was a ton of work that I knew that I needed to do. As soon as we were done this hike, I knew that I had to go back and really get started. And I wasn't present with a person that I loved because I was so focused on stress. And the thing that happened in that moment that was so powerful was that I noticed that thought. I noticed that I wasn't having the experience that I wanted to have in a beautiful place with a person that I care deeply about, right? And I was able to notice that thought. And then I was able to use that same process of grounding through the senses. Take a deep breath, smell those pine trees. What do I hear? Do I feel the gravel under my feet, right? And I was able to not just notice that there was a problem, but I actually had a solution for how I could bring myself back to that moment and put in place a compassionate boundary with myself, right? That work needed to be done, but I don't have to be stressed in that moment. I can be focused on this experience and giving something back to myself. I think my advice to someone who's maybe feeling skeptical is that it can't hurt to give 60 seconds of your day to something that could change your life.